Hey, friends, and welcome back to I'll Have What She's Having, the essential podcast for all things sexual healing, sexual freedom, and living a freaking turned on life. Today, we are speaking with Dr. Irene Sanchez Celis about the real medicine that women weren't taught, the power of our wombs, the real reasons why we experience painful periods, PMS, and so many other symptoms that we have been taught can be solved by things like birth control. Except they aren't solved, they're simply covered up. There are holistic, grounded solutions to these symptoms. These signs are telling us that something needs rebalancing. So today, let's talk about the truth of our wombs and all the things that women really need to know about this absolutely magical part of our bodies. It is literally a portal where life enters into this world from. Oh, it is just the most magical thing. Dr. Irene is a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine, an acupuncturist, and a womb-centered mentor who weaves Chinese medicine, Taoist tantric practices, and depth psychology into modern healing. Through her signature work in womb healing, sacred sexuality, and the 7 Gates practice, she guides women to regulate their nervous systems, unlock their sexual energy as a source of vitality, and reclaim their sovereign power. You can absolutely guess why I am so excited to have her here with us today. Born and raised in Mexico City, Irene carries a lineage of mysticism, medicine, and embodied spirituality. Her teachings integrate ancient frameworks like 8 extraordinary vessels, Red Lotus Qigong, shamanic womb traditions, and feminine alchemy with grounded clinical experience in women's health, fertility, hormones, and trauma repair. She also hosts the Radiance podcast, and today is offering you all the womb quiz, where you can discover what your womb needs in order to awaken to your true potential and your most vital healing. In her signature program, Womb Awakening, she helps modern women reconnect with their true nature through the intelligence of their womb and the awakening of their sexual life force. Her work bridges East and West, science and spirit, helping women come home to their bodies, deepen intimacy, and rise in their leadership through embodied power rather than burnout. Oh, I am so excited to share some of this magic with you. Because today, we're going to talk about how your womb holds ancestral memory, the emotional and spiritual roots of painful periods, PMS, endometriosis, and PCOS. Why numbness is actually too much feeling, how to complete the stress cycle and stop emotional spirals, the truth about womb power, inner seasons, and feminine archetypes, how to clear old partner's energy and reconnect with your sexual aliveness, the science of spirituality behind womb healing, shamanic release, and subconscious rewiring. And finally, the ancient art of yoni steaming, how it works, and how to do it safely. And yes, this was the interview that inspired me to make my own yoni steaming party. And oh my gosh, it was so much fun. You should definitely try it with friends. So if you've ever felt disconnected from your body or struggled with menstrual pain, or sensed maybe that your womb holds more wisdom that you haven't yet accessed, this conversation is for you. So let's get to it, but just a few quick announcements first. Okay, I can't keep it in. I am just so freaking excited. I am busy cooking up some really amazing offers for you all. So this is just to put this out there, get it on your radar, and also join our email list to be the first to learn about these kinds of events. So first off, we have the 3-day Women's Sensuality Retreat, Wild Women Rising, near Vancouver, Canada, which will be coming May 2026. We also have a full week-long immersion into sisterhood, sensuality, and play in Mexico, and that is called Wild Women Unleashed and is available in February of 2027. And we have a co-ed nudist retreat coming to you. It is called Play Camp. It will be focused on reclaiming our innate playful nature and healing our relationship with our bodies. This will be coming to you in November of 2026, hosted in Zipolite, Mexico. You will hear so much about these in the coming months, and also a new exciting offer that can be done from anywhere in the world. It is called the Couples Tantric Awakening, where I spend 3 dedicated coaching sessions with you and your lover, designing your own custom tantric ritual to deepen and enliven your sexuality and sex life with one another. I'm so excited to do this work with you. I will be taking on 3 couples at a pilot project rate of 30% off. So you can email me at connect@krishall.ca to be the first to receive this special offer. I know this is a lot of different dates and things, but I promise you it's all in the show notes, and you'll be hearing so much more about it, especially if you join our email list. So go ahead, sign up, and get all those offers coming seamlessly to you and be the first to know. All right, we have 2 more important announcements. First, my signature coaching program, Wild, Worthy, and Orgasmic, 12 weeks to total sexual freedom, where I create a custom, tailor-made journey for you to walk yourself home, back to your vitality, back to your aliveness, and to a place of absolute sexual thriving. And I have a few spots left for this fall. So sign up for your free clarity call to learn about how you can completely transform your sex life this winter. Don't wait until spring when you're almost ready to go have your sexy summer fun. Do the deep work this winter so that you can emerge ready to bloom into your fullest potential next spring. Sign up for your free consultation call. The link is in the show notes. I cannot wait to meet you. And finally, oh my freaking goddess, I have an exciting offer for you. My most popular workshop, Sex Magic, that I have taken to Burning Man and local festivals all over BC, is now available for you online. While you will have to wait for the next podcast episode that will be me walking through the workshop content on a podcast episode for you, you can now get your free step-by-step PDF guide and a take-home 30-minute audio that will guide you through this magical process that literally makes dreams come true. It's manifestation using your sexual energy. It gives you clarity on what you're calling into your life. And it even helps you move through the blocks that are standing in your way, those tangible things that sometimes we don't even know are there. It even teaches you the essential sexual skills that create the most embodied, connected sex. Oh my gosh, it is absolutely everything. It has been a labor of love to create this offer for you and to offer it to everyone, not just attendees of my workshop. So head on over to krishall.ca/sex-magic to claim your free audio today. All right, now on to the podcast. What if pleasure was the key to unlocking everything you've ever wanted? Welcome to I'll Have What She's Having, the podcast where your pleasure is your power and you're allowed to want it all. I'm your host, Kris Hall, a sexual empowerment coach, and I'm here to help you unleash your inner fire. Every other week, you'll get expert advice, practical tools, and juicy inspiration to help you feel more confident, turned on, and fully in your power. Because you deserve the kind of love life that makes people say, I'll have what she's having. Hello, how are you?
Hi, beautiful sister. I'm really good. Really happy to be here with you.
Oh, so beautiful to have you here today. So I'd love to begin with just tell us about yourself, tell us about your work and how you've come to it and what you love the most about it.
Okay. So my beautiful journey. I have been so blessed in my life. And my journey started in Mexico. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Irene in Spanish, or Irene, and I am originally from Mexico. And there's many like timelines that I can weave into, but basically, since I was very, very young, when I started bleeding, I always had really, really challenging menstrual cycles, really heavy, really painful. And at the time, and I had polycystic ovary syndrome. And at the time, the only treatment that doctors would give you is going on birth control pill. So I did that, and I was in birth control pill for many, many years. And if you've been on the pill, you know that your cycles are like, they're not organic, they are masks. So I was very disconnected to my body. Flash forward, when I entered university, I studied medicine. I am a Western medicine medical doctor. And during that time, a lot of the focus was on studying and learning. And so I lived very much from my head up. And this is something that I see so prevalent in my practice and in our culture. And so I went through this journey of not being embodied, not being in my body. And I was becoming very, very sick. The stress of being in med school, I was drinking a lot of coffee. I was smoking. I was partying, because also there's a lot of stress and pressure, and you are thrown into very complex dimensions of life. In Mexico, you go to med school when you're 18, so you're very, very young. You don't do pre-med, like you go very, very young. So I didn't have the tools to handle the psycho-emotional, spiritual experiences, events that were happening at that time in my life. So I started to numb myself, numb. And I started to become very, very sick. And so I realized that I couldn't help others if I was not well myself, if I was not healthy. I was doing it because of obligation. I was doing it because that was the path that I was supposed to follow as a med student. And many other things, from programming of my family and culture and etc. So there was a very crucial moment in my life when I was finishing med school that I realized that I needed to make a huge shift in my life. And that's when I discovered Chinese medicine. I remember that I was doing my social service in Chiapas, in the southeast part of Mexico, where there's also a very rich culture of Mayan herbology. So I was also starting to be immersed in herbology and in the benefits. And I started to take herbal medicine from the Mayans in San Cris with a local healer. And I started doing therapy, and this healer started to do acupressure in my body. And then I started to experience firsthand the power of the energy body and of the mind and of the emotions. So I started to heal my menstrual cycles. I went off the pill, and I started to read about Chinese medicine, fell in love. It made so much sense to me, that then that's when I decided to come to Canada and immerse myself in a Chinese medicine training. So now I live in the beautiful sacred lands of Squamish Nations, and I've been here almost 20 years in Canada. And also, while I was here, I discovered, or I connected with my spiritual teachers. And so not only I went to Chinese medicine, but I also dove very deep into different spiritual lineages like Tantra, Taoism, shamanism, and body-mind therapy. And that started to bring other elements that now I use in my practice. So this is what I do. It's kind of like I'm a spiritual hacker embodied in feminine wisdom, because what I love to do, and because this has been my journey, is to reconnect women with their bodies, with their emotions, with their sensual feeling, and of course with their sexual energy, with their sexuality, because in Tantra, as we know, it's Shakti, it's power, it's our most powerful healing energy. And that's what I do. I help women. I I create sacred spaces for women to reconnect with their healing powers that we all have, utilizing different tools and technologies.
Amazing. I knew part of your story, but I didn't know the full picture. And like hearing it step by step, like that is so beautiful. And like I love that so many love and hate that so many people's journeys start with like I was on the pill, and the pill, yeah, like masks so much of who we are and our cycles and that like femininity, right? And like it's hard to talk to somebody, like it's hard to point that out when somebody's like so reliant on it and it actually does work for their lives and whatever things they're going through. But yeah, like just it's such a beautiful journey. I just love all the like I could feel the wisdom coming from you that's like, oh yes, this is gonna be such a beautiful conversation about this.
Yeah, and that's just like little snippets, right? Like I say, like my life has been very rich and very blessed and very privileged, and I just feel very, very grateful for having access to these paths and to my teachers and my mentors and the teachings. Yeah, very, very grateful. Mhm.
Yeah. So what is your favorite, or what is the current thing you are most focused on in terms of like women getting back to their sensual selves, back to their bodies? Like what are you seeing right now that's really making you stop and pause and say, this is what I wish every woman knew?
Yeah. So going back to the pill, right? Like, and I just want to clarify that there's no right or wrong, right? Like Western medicine has its place. It has amazing tools that we can utilize, but they have to be used like in the right context, in the right way. And for me, that's the future of medicine, the integration of Eastern and Western, the integration of everything that we are, all the dimensions of self. And some of the things that I encounter in my practice over and over, as I mentioned, is the disconnection, the body mind disconnection. And so the body has wisdom, it has consciousness, it has like a mind that we need to be able to tap into. And that part of that part of the body wisdom is the womb wisdom, is the wisdom that lives in our wombs and in our natural rhythms, in our natural cycles. So when you're on the pill, you are disconnected from these internal rhythms, in these natural cycles that we have. And the nature has its wisdom. Like the design of nature has so much information that we can tap into if we become aware. So it's all about connection, connection to the body, connection to your womb, connection to your cycles. But it all starts with the willingness, the curiosity, and for some women it can be very, very scary, because change is scary, right? So if you tell them, let's take the pill away, they have to be willing to do it, because it's gonna create change in their life. And so that's why it's so important to have resources to go through those changes. And a lot of the resources, they are accessible for us here and now, because it's just connecting to the earth, for example, is an incredible resource for change, because the earth is stability, is
The earth breathing. Sorry.
is rooting down. So the earth can hold you while you are going through these changes, but you have to create a relationship. So feeling, connecting, starting to feel your senses, your sensual self, right? You talked about your sensual self. What is sensuality? Sensuality is the connection to the world through your senses, through your touch, through the smelling, watching, observing, tasting, hearing. So starting to slow down, and a lot of that is slowing down.
Yeah. Yeah. Slowing down is one of the keys that I think a lot of people miss. Yeah.
Slowing down, because when you slow down, then you start to notice. So again, noticing, connecting. Oh, I feel this. I feel the wind in my skin. This tea smells delicious. Those little simple things can go a long way.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's definitely where I start with my work too, is like that somatic awareness of what's around you and yeah, tapping into the senses, and that like your pleasure, your sexuality is directly linked to every single sense that you have, including touch, taste, smell, sight, like every single part. And it like yeah, like being aware of all those things around you lets you sink deeper into your connection with your body, lets you be more aware of what's actually happening. Because I think so many of us are so afraid of like whatever's happening that we'll block it out. I know I did that too for years, where it was like, I'm so afraid to know what's going on because it's disrupting my life so much that I just like created this black box where I just was unaware of what was actually happening deep inside.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That happens a lot, right? Like numbness is just a symptom. It's not that you're not feeling. It's like you're feeling so much that you need to numb.
Yeah.
But listen, like it's so incredibly rewarding and liberating to feel, to connect. And yes, it can be uncomfortable because the thing is that we live in a culture that we want everything to be easy. We want instant gratification. We avoid pain. We avoid talking about death. We avoid talking about growing old. We want everything to be rosy and easy, but that's not the human experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you allow yourself to experience the full spectrum of the human experience, there's so much bliss.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much joy. There's so much awe and magic of life and of your life. So life becomes more interesting.
Yeah.
And more fun.
Yeah. I even love not just connecting to the quote unquote good emotions, but connecting to the maybe more negative ones that like people want to avoid. And like you can go through those, and there's so much joy in feeling the emotions.
Feeling.
Your max.
Feeling.
Yeah, that like I've had angergasms and sad gaps. Like
Exactly.
get there.
Exactly.
Anything.
Exactly. There's this contemporary of Jung. Jung is a psychiatrist that created the concept of the collective unconscious. And there's this other psychiatrist called Wilhelm Reich, and he came up with the concept of the organ. The organ is your life force. And he showed how every emotion, it's like an orgasm. It has the same flow. Every emotion. So if you allow your full anger, like you say, how did you say it?
Oh, like my angergasms and my sad
Angergasm, or feargasm, or like if you allow the full flow, you reach a peak, and then you go into the lower phase, and so there is a liberation. And in that peak, it's like when you see a little kid, cry, and then they're like,
Yeah. Yeah, like one other way to think about it is that every emotion has a start, middle, and end. Seeing it that way can be really, really liberating, of being like, oh, it has a beginning, and then it peaks, and then there is going to be an end, but you need to
there's gonna be an end.
experience it. Otherwise, it's not going to end. It's just going to stay.
And this is something that I offer a lot in my sessions, because we have not been taught how to flow with emotion. We've been taught good emotion, bad emotion. But all emotion is just Shakti, it's just energy, it's just power. They have power, they have consciousness, they have a medicine, right? So if we allow the full expression, it's going to be liberated and you're going to feel so good. And yes, you're not going to stay in it. It's like what I was talking to you about when we before we started, that I went through this process where I didn't allow the full expression because of circumstances in my environment, and I was like consciously aware of it. If I'm not going to allow the full expression, then another wave is going to come and another wave is going to come, and that's when we spiral. That's when we spiral in the emotion. But when we allow the full expression, boom, it's gone, and it transforms and it dissolves in your body, so you're more open.
Yeah. Another way of thinking about it, I've heard is like completing the stress cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this, it is actually a full-on cycle of stress. And I can't remember the points exactly at this moment, but that like we need to go through full completion of a stress cycle to actually have all those emotions just like whoosh, and like you feel it when it happens. Because sometimes you get really, really energized. Like I've seen people go through something that's been stuck there for a really long time. Like a good example is like the grief of a loved one that like you haven't let yourself grieve fully, and that they end up like stuck somewhere in that cycle. And once they're able to complete it, holy shit, sometimes there's like this burst of energy because like it was keeping them sick.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what happens in a traumatic event. And that's what happens in trauma, because it's how you experience it in the moment. And when you're in a very huge traumatic event, your unconscious wants to keep you alive, so you fragment that part to be able to stay present, but that part is not fully resolved.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's so important after a car crash, after a birth, after a psychedelic experience, after like big events, after a loss of a loved one, to do integration work, to come and resolve it after, because then we'll have the full completion.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier. You talked about like the extra amount of power in the womb. Like you talked about how it all kind of like that wisdom, that intuition, that power. So talk to me about the power of the womb.
Power of the womb. Okay, so our womb. Oh my God. Okay, in Spanish, womb is called matriz.
Mm-hmm.
Or útero, uterus, or matriz. Matriz is the matrix. And the root of the matrix is the mother, mama. So think about it, like in the womb, we have the capacity to create life. We create life. For me, that's the most miraculous thing that we can do. Like from nada, from source, boop, now we're here, all of us. No? So there is so much power there. There's so much power of creation, of creative energy. And this energy, this creative energy, it doesn't necessarily have to be a baby, a physical baby. You know, you can utilize this energy for any creative project that you want. A business, a relationship, your art, cooking, your family, etc., right? So the thing is that in this culture, we haven't been taught how to connect with our wombs. First, because our womb is a very mysterious organ. You know, like when you grow up, you hear a lot about your heart and your lungs and your intestines, kidneys, maybe, yes, no, bladder, maybe, you know, but the womb, it's like you don't talk about it very much, you know, like even our external sexual organs, a lot of women don't even know the anatomy and the names, you know, like we call vagina this whole area when it's vulva. And so we haven't been taught. So we have been, and then with the birth control pill that is so prevalent, we've been severed from that connection. And for me, the best way to connect with the wisdom of the womb is to connect with our natural cycles. Because our womb goes through this whole birth, death, rebirth journey every month. Every month. And so in every different cycle, in every different phase of the cycle, there's different powers, there's different wisdom, there's different energies that you can harness and you can utilize for your life. But the thing is that in this culture, we've been taught that we need to be in full summer the whole time. So think about your bleeding time as winter and ovulation time as summer. So bleeding is winter solstice, the utmost yin. Yin energy in Chinese medicine is related to coolness, to water, to stillness, to the dark, to the mysteries, to the feminine. And yang energy, summer energy, is connected to masculine energy, fire, assertivity, go, productivity, which are great to have, but not all the time. And in this society, in this culture, we are expected as women to be in full summer the whole time. And so we are pushing through, we are forcing ourselves, we are not in right alignment with our inner cycles, with our inner rhythms. And that creates a disharmony. So in Chinese medicine, we say that illness comes to fruition because of imbalance of the elements, because of the elements being unbalanced, or the yin-yang being in not right alignment. More yin or more yang. And so optimal health is when the yin and yang are flowing. You know that symbol of like there's white and dark and there's little dots. Well, that represents the yin and the yang, and they're not static. They're always moving. Like nature, right? We're always moving. We're always dynamic. So that's the thing. Like, we've been taught that we have to be in the yang energy all the time, and there's a lot of fire, and that creates problems in our health, in our lives.
Yeah. I love the analogy of the seasons. I use it too. And I think to bring it back to like the emotions, and when emotions aren't complete, it's the same kind of thing. That when your cycle, when you don't honor the place that you are in your cycle at any given moment, it kind of ends up being sticky, and it keeps going. It keeps getting deeper into that like misalignment. Like if you didn't let yourself rest on your period, which some of us can't, right? Like we don't have the ability in today's modern world to be like, well, I'm bleeding today, I'm going to not do anything. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can do it and it's beautiful, and sometimes you can't. And yeah, like really like playing with that cycle. I love doing that, like being able to flow within your cycle. And so what I hear you saying is like that part of the power of our womb is the fact that like we like it is the thing that connects us to that cycle and to those powerful states of being.
Yeah, because also each phase, like we have the winter when we bleed, then we have spring energy right when after bleeding. So there's a surge of energy. And so this is a time to like start planning, start playing, starting going more outward. And then you have ovulation, which is summer. Be generous, do multitask, go to do all the social gatherings, go, like hike the mountain, do everything that requires more energy. Your work, batch create, content creation, for example, for those of you that are entrepreneurs. And then you start to slow down, right? In winter, like the bears, they hibernate. And in Chinese medicine, the energy goes down into the roots. And we need to nourish those roots so that when spring comes, the sprout can happen. But then in another more like psychological frame view, we have archetypes, feminine archetypes in each phase. And this is beautiful. This is beautiful work when you start tapping into the archetypes. So first, the archetypes of the seasons, because this is how we become in right alignment with nature. But then when you start tapping into the archetypes, you start to play with different manifestations and expressions of your Shakti, of your feminine energy, of your feminine essence. And you start to realize that there's more than just one way of being a woman, one way of living your life. And so, for example, in the spring energy, we have the archetype of the maiden, of the virgin, of Artemis, of Diana the huntress, that likes to play and want to go into the forest and likes to perfect her craft and, is with her sisters and animals. And then we go into ovulation phase, which is the lover, like going into Aphrodite energies and in your pleasure and enjoyment and sharing your Shakti. And then you start going into the fall season, which is the mother archetype, and then the witch archetype. And then you go into the crone or the wise medicine woman that is also connected to wrathful energies, wrathful archetypes. And this is so beautiful because when we bleed, we are going into a very magical and shamanic dimension. The veils become very thin. This is the time that you become the oracle of receiving messages from source for you and for the community. This is how it was before, right? Like women would go into the red tent, they would bleed together and they would receive messages. And then they would come out and they would say, we need to move this tent over here, or we need to plant this crop over here. Like they would be the oracles. And we're missing that. And we're seeing it as something negative. Oh, it's when you become the bitch. It's when you become too much. It's because, we're not honoring it as it should be.
Yeah, I think the word honor is such a huge piece of this. Like, we have stopped honoring this cycle, honoring this beautiful, like beginning, middle, and end, and the seasons and the flow. Like, so I want to tell a story of I was going to a sweat lodge by one of the local First Nations, and I was on my period, and so I was told I wasn't allowed to go into the tent. And at first I got a little bit mad, right? Because there's so many places where you're not allowed to go in because you're seen as dirty or disgusting or whatever else, and you're unclean. And so I got a little bit mad, and then I stopped and I went, okay, no, I'm going to get curious instead. Why am I not allowed to go into the tent on my bleed? And it was because I'm already going through my own purification cycle, and my energy is so strong and so potent that would disrupt the cycle and the release that everybody inside that tent is going through. And so once I heard that, I went, oh, yeah, okay, I'll stay out then, because that is respecting and honoring the place that I am in my cycle. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a beautiful reason. Not that I wouldn't respect it otherwise, but I would have been a little bit kind of miffed, Would have been there would have been some anger and stickiness if it was about me being unclean. But yeah, that honoring, so many people talk about their periods and negative ways, oh, it's the time of month where I'm angry and tired and sleepy and in pain, instead of this is where your deep wisdom comes out. This is where bring a journal. Try not to take your pain meds as soon as possible, because your pain meds block all that intuition. And especially I need an Advil stat when I get my period, but if I can hold out, oh my God, I try to, because you get high. Your hormones are making you high, and then you can take a journal and just get some downloads. Oh my gosh, it's a juicy time.
It's a super juicy time. And I love that you brought the trying to feel the pain during your period. And this is something that I offer a lot to my patients, because again, there's so much wisdom in there. And I'm going to tell a story about this as well. I've been dealing with endometriosis for many, many years. And I was in Miami, and I went to a womb healing with a sister of mine who's a womb shaman. She's also a Chinese medicine doctor and does womb healing. And she offered me this beautiful ritual that, for those of you listening, you might want to take this in, which is really easy. And it's to offer your blood for 13 moons to the earth.
Mm.
So if you don't use a Diva cup, I suggest that you start using a Diva cup.
Yep.
So because you can touch your blood, you can get more intimate with your blood, the consistency, the color, and with your body. And so you offer the blood to the earth, and you can ask. And she was like, ask for healing. And going back to womb healing, there's many layers of healing, right? Like there's the layer of the physical organ, but also the psycho-emotional, spiritual dimension, which is really, really important to address. So I was offering my blood and asking for healing for my endo. And what happened is that after the third bleed, on my third bleed, after doing this ritual, the third moon, I went into the most excruciating pain I've ever felt in one of my menstrual cycles. And it was like my uterus was ripping apart. It was like so painful. And I remember I was like, I'm just gonna go into it as a journey. And I was shaking, I was sweating, and I just went into an altered state of consciousness. And I was just like in another world. And after that, my pain went away.
Oh my God.
Done. Talking about completing a cycle.
Yeah.
No more. I don't have to take pain medication anymore. Completely gone. What I felt is I was clearing a lot of like ancestral patterns, ancestral energies that I've been carrying. And this is something that we can all do. Yes, we need to address the physical, the hormones. We need to address how your womb is positioned, like helping it detoxify. But the womb is also an organ of detoxification. Like every month we are shedding, we are releasing everything that doesn't serve you from that past cycle to create a new possibility for something new to come. No? But this is things that we can do.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's an incredible story. It's like so many people struggle with endometriosis and painful periods. And like it's so incredible to get that perspective that like bridges the two of like, okay, like we're not forgetting Western medicine, and we're not forgetting that like first you do need to talk to a doctor and address if there's anything physically there. And if there isn't, which in honestly a lot of cases there isn't, even with like vaginismus, so like painful sex and all that stuff, like there's often nothing physical that's actually wrong. It's usually something spiritual, something emotional. There's such a high concentration of your emotions in your womb, in your pelvic space. Like, there's so much there that like sometimes people do certain yoga poses and they start to cry and they don't know why. And it's like, yeah, you're releasing some shit down there. And so like, yeah, hearing you go through that and like, you got to feel it to heal it. You got to go into the pain, and that takes a lot of bravery. So like, hats off.
And and to be fair, like I've done a lot, like I've been in this path for over 20 years, and I've done deep somatic therapy. So I'm not afraid of going into the very challenging and dark spaces. So again, because I feel like I trust the flow of my body. I trust the wisdom of my body. But if you do decide to go through this, my invitation is just open your awareness, open your observation, and allow yourself to go to the limit, and then just a little bit more, and see if you can like stay there and breathe. Use your breath. Breath is such a important anchor to stay in the body.
Yeah, that's a wild story. And I think it speaks to every other part of your body too. That like that I've seen these cycles in myself. I've seen these cycles in other people where like you get caught in the story, you get caught in fear. A lot of the time it's fear of whatever is happening to your body that you can't control, that's going to change your life, that's causing you pain and suffering. And we want to push it away. And the more we push it and we push it and we push it, it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger on every single cycle. And yeah, oh my goodness.
What you resist will persist.
If sex feels painful, disconnected, or has a serious lack of orgasms and pleasure, it's time to pause. This isn't just about sex, it's about aliveness. Because when your body stops feeling safe to feel, you lose more than orgasms. You lose joy, turn on, creativity, and that sense of sparkly aliveness, that thing that gets you up out of bed in the morning, that makes you excited for the day. But that can change starting now. That's why I created a totally free 15-minute pleasure breathwork called the Pleasure Portal. It's a guided, gentle, body-based experience to reconnect you to your turn-on and begin the process of rewiring your nervous system for pleasure. Forget forcing yourself to feel sexy or trying to fix your libido. This isn't a checklist or a how-to. It's about dropping into your body and letting it speak to you. This is about remembering that you were made to feel deeply, wildly, and sensually alive. This isn't a cute sex tip. It's just 15 minutes. You'll feel turned on in a whole new way, I promise you. Your body, emotions, and sensations will wake up. Whew, it is just a stunning piece of magic. It's 15 minutes and it might just change everything. So head on over to krishall.ca/thepleasureportal and download it for free.
And and just going back to the womb and our pelvis, like you can see it as a bowl, right? Our pelvis bowl. So this is our most feminine aspect of our body. So it's meant to be receiving energies. So it's receiving everything in your life is being stored there, good and bad. So if you've never done any womb clearing, I highly recommend that you do some womb clearing, because there's old energy there from all your sexual partners, all the energy of every sexual partner. Some of it will stay in your womb. So think about all the sexual partners that you didn't like, that were traumatic experiences, that were not good, and all the ones that were good and that were positive. And so there's both, right? But it's so important to do womb clearing once in a while, and one of the things that you can do for that is yoni steaming, for example. It's a beautiful practice for clearing your womb.
How do you yoni steam?
How do you yoni steam? So it's very easy. You boil water, and you can put some herbs, or you can just use the water. So yoni steaming is an ancestral practice that it's basically like having like a steam sauna to your vulva and to your vagina, to your external sexual organs, and the energy of the steam will penetrate the tissues. So it's been used a lot for like in Chinese medicine, we use it a lot for postpartum care. It's like after mamas have babies, they go through this huge opening, their tissues become very bruised, there's blood stagnation. And so there's a lot of the times a disconnection to that part of the body because of the traumatic event. It's a traumatic event, right? It opens so much. And that, like you break open. And so doing yoni steaming allows the blood flow to start circulating a little bit more. So it allows the healing of the tissues in like a physical way. And then you can use herbs like rose, like chamomile, like sage, calendula. Marigold is beautiful. Marigold is one of my favorite herbs to work with yoni steaming. And these herbs will bring more benefits, right, to the tissues and to the blood flow in that area of your body. But in a psycho-emotional, spiritual way, the energies help to release, to clear, and it's like a bathing practice. The energy goes in, but then it releases. And then if you do that with your intention as well of like clearing, and this is a really good practice to do in new moons, for example. New moons, because we're letting go of the old and welcoming the new cycle. So releasing any energies that you are holding on that are no longer serving you. And so what you do is you boil water, and you can put the herbs if you want to use herbs. Again, you don't have to use herbs. And then you put the water in a ceramic bowl or a glass bowl. And then you stand or you kneel above it with a towel around you, or like a skirt or a dress, so that your legs are covered. And then you just allow the steam to penetrate. I have a little box, so I sit. My ceramic bowl goes inside the box, so I sit and I put a towel. But you can stand or you can kneel. It's very easy. It's very, very easy. And then also, this creates a connection of the body mind, of the womb and your mind, right? You start to connect more awareness to this part of your body.
Wow, I love that. I don't think I truly knew about yoni steaming before. I'd heard the words.
You've never done yoni steaming?
I've never done it. Honestly, I'm like, I'm gonna do this right now. Like, I'm gonna do this today. But so I it's funny because it's one of those like buzzwords almost that I feel like spas are offering now, and like there's definitely like some stuff where it's like, oh, I think that's bullshit. But no, the way that you explain it and the way that you're like, oh yeah, like the ancestral traditions and the energy clearing, absolutely. That sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it's been used for a really long time. And again, it's been used a lot for postpartum, but like seriously, it can help with irregular menstruations, with endo, with PCOS, with painful periods, with severe PMS, you know. It really is very, very very beneficial. And just to clear, you know, like if you just had a breakup, clear those old energies.
Yeah, I've got a couple practices too that are like non-physical, like spiritual, emotional, sexual practices that like clear out those old energies. That's just like send it away. Like even when you just think about it, it's amazing what your thoughts can do, right? Like your thoughts become things. And so you can really use those to your benefit, but you can also notice when like your thoughts are causing not so great things in your life.
Yeah. They're like sticky and we can be very harsh to ourselves. Yeah, so send more loving thoughts to our wombs.
Honestly, that's such a key thing is like if you can't do anything else, like sit still for 2 minutes a day, scan your body and send every single part of it deep, deep, deep love.
Deep love, yeah. In Chinese medicine also, we know, you know how we work with meridians, with energy channels? We know that there is a meridian that goes from the heart to the womb, which I find like so beautiful because as women, like for me, when your heart is open, your womb is going to be open. And when our womb is open, then we are flowing. You know, and there's so many benefits when our womb and our hearts are open. It just means that, and then talking in like more medical terms, we have the HPO axis, right? So in Chinese medicine, we have this connection, and in Western medicine, we have the HPO axis.
What's the HPO axis?
HPO axis is hypothalamus, in Spanish.
Hypothalamus, yeah.
Hypothalamus, pituitary ovary axis.
Okay.
So it's a endocrine axis that you send the hormones, and it's the messengers, right? And when these are flowing, when these are in balance, then your stress hormones are reduced. There's less cortisol, there's less adrenaline. You move from survival to thriving. You feel more relaxed, more open. Heart is open, womb is open, right? There's less inflammatory proteins in your body, so you have less like less leaky gut or IBS, or your estrogen and progesterone become more balanced. Everything just flows better. Everything's just more balanced.
Yeah.
So if and for me, like true healing comes from the integration of body, mind, heart, and soul. Everything, right? And there is research that shows how our thoughts affect our endocrine system, our immune system, right? So like just going back to what you're saying, like our thoughts are so powerful. So if we send good thoughts, if we send good intentions, that starts to create a shift. And even more, if you want to go deeper, using the subconscious, power of the subconscious, because a lot of people are like, yeah, but I say my affirmations all the time and they don't work. It's because we need to go a layer deeper.
Yeah. Yeah, because like 90% of what you think every single day is all subconscious, and your subconscious runs your life, right? Like it's funny when people think like, oh, but I can't change XYZ about like my sex life or about like, I can't change who I'm attracted to and I can't change how my body is this way or this way. And it's like, oh, I bet you can. And absolutely, you can. But you do have to start working at it on every single level. Yeah, including not just affirmations. Because so one thing my teacher told me was like, affirmations go like top down, right? So like you think something and you're trying to like bring the thoughts from your mind down into your body versus like when you do somatic work and you do subconscious healing, you're going from the ground up. You're going bottom up technique where you're like planting these thoughts and these actual beliefs into your subconscious, which is way more powerful.
Way more powerful. And for me, that's the realm of the wisdom of the womb.
Yeah.
That's the realm. That's the dimension. It's deep. It's in the subconscious, in the unconscious, the collective unconscious, right? Because we are holding memories of our ancestors in our womb, in our ovaries. Like it just blows my mind when we are conceived. Like we already have our eggs inside our mother. It just goes like fractal.
Yeah, like you were inside your grandmother. Like
when you were inside your grandmother. Yeah.
oh my God. Of course, like of course you have genetic, like we have like our bodies have memory. Like your body's like there's some crazy stories about like there was a woman who like she always had throat problems, right? And like or she had trouble eating and like she had like really, really intense problems. And then she did some like deeper ancestral healing and found out that like her family was like in the Irish potato famine and something. And so she was still holding on to this like scarcity of food because she like couldn't keep food down. Like there was all this stuff. And like ancestral healing actually solved her problems. Like, oh my God.
It's wild. And for me, that's the realm of the womb.
Mm.
It's deep, it's ancestral, it's spiritual. Yes, we need to address the physical because it's connected. We need to align it. We need to balance the hormones, but we need to address the subconscious programming of your family, of the women in your family, of your female lineage, and and masculine as well, like the programming of the masculine that we're all healing. We're all in it.
Yeah, it's hard for me to think about the fact that, we heal something here in our own bodies right now, and that actually helps, all the women in your matriarchal line. But yeah, it's like that's a little bit disconnected for me in terms of like my own beliefs about the world, but like I do see how it's possible and I do see it, right? It's crazy to be able to heal backwards. Like you can stand, okay, that's it.
And even if you don't believe you can heal backwards, you can heal forward.
Yeah.
You can heal forward. In the shamanic world, we say that when we do this deep healing, you're healing 7 generations before and 7 generations after you. And so if the behind you is like, that's a little bit too far out for me, but think about the future. What patterns do you want to pass to your children? What programmings do you want to pass to your children? What behaviors? What attitudes? Right?
Yeah. Even if you're not going to have kids, like what?
Even if you're not, yeah.
Active, yeah.
Yeah, it's the collective. For me, I don't have children. For me, it's like my nieces and nephews and the children of my friends. It's collective. I truly believe that as we heal ourselves, we heal the collective.
Yeah.
And so ripple effect. Yeah. So for me, this is like super important and impactful work.
It is. It super is. Oh my goodness. That's just, I feel like that's such a beautiful, like, oomph to end on. But I'm curious if you have anything else you want to share. Is anything else coming to you that we, like, missed in this conversation?
I think that, like, I think we touched on a lot. I think one of the things you asked me before coming is like, what would you say? What would you tell women? One thing that they can do right now to help them become more aware of their wombs and of their healing journey. I have a womb quiz. That you can do it right now. It'll take you 5 minutes, and it's created through through Chinese medicine Frame You. So this is a beautiful way to start learning where are the imbalances in your womb. And again, it's not about giving you a diagnosis, it's just about giving you information. Because for me, the first thing for change, and this, I wanted to say, the only constant in life is change.
Yep.
We can change. And we can change upward or we can change downward. And it's all of our intention and our devotion. What are you devoted to? How do you want to live your life? Remember that we only have this one life in this body. Because I believe in reincarnation. I believe we have many, many lives. But in this body, in this timeline, we only have this one. So let's make it our best. I make it our best. And I know that the world is in chaos and everything's like so, the world is on fire and there's so much chaos. But as I say, I truly believe that as we heal ourselves, we heal the collective. So if we stay in our lane and if you focus on your own journey of healing, then you will have energy to give others. Because for me, this is what we're here for. We're here to be of service to others. We're here to walk each other home. And what is home? To love each other. Because like home is here. It's not going anywhere else. It's here. Heaven is here. Heaven is within us. But we need to remember that we have the medicine, that the medicine is within. But when you are off and you're feeling not good, because of course we are human and we have times of being angry and sticky and in pain and like, how am I supposed to like do good in the world if I'm not being good with myself? So the first thing is to bring light of where you are unbalanced, where you are not in right alignment with your truth, with who you are, with what brings you joy. And a lot of people talk about like my purpose. Your purpose is to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose of everything, of all of this, is just to be ourselves, to be authentic. We are miracles. We are miracles. It's a miracle to be in this body right now. A miracle to be sharing this conversation with you right now. And to remember that and to be grateful and to see that there's a lot of beauty in life. And so, with all of that, go do the womb quiz.
And also do some yoni steaming. Also, maybe just like put your yoni on the earth, Actually,
yoni on the earth.
Yoni earth breathing is freaking powerful. I didn't believe it until I did it, and I was like, oh my god, yeah. Just like wear a long skirt so you can just like go and like casually put your like bare yoni on the earth and just like take some deep breaths. You'll be amazed.
So good. Connect with nature.
Mm-hmm.
Hug some trees, hug your loved ones, hug your sisters. Yeah. And if you do want more guidance in yoni steaming or other self-care rituals after the womb quiz, I have a womb medicine bundle where there is a yoni steaming ritual and ceremonies, and there's more in-depth guidance if that is what you are looking for. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. And so where can people find you? Where can people find your work? And what are your offerings right now?
Yeah, so I am based in Squamish. So I have my home practice here where I offer acupuncture and hypnoacupuncture, hypnosis with acupuncture. That's something that I do, again, to go into the more deeper levels of our consciousness to create shifts and transformation. And I offer as well online sessions. For those of you who are remote, I am available for online sessions. And I'm going to France in August to collaborate with my beautiful sister friend Clara in her yoga retreat, where I'll be offering a cacao ceremony and acupuncture and the womb quiz and the womb medicine bundle if you are desiring more guidance of how to connect and heal your womb in a holistic way.
Beautiful. Okay, all those links will be posted below, and you can find Irene and oh my goodness, all of your beautiful wisdom. I literally there was a moment where you would just channeling information. I was just sitting here just happy, just smiling, being like, this is the most beautiful download to be witness to. And yeah, you truly are just an amazing medicine woman.
Thank you, Kris. Thank you for the invitation. I love our conversation and connecting, and thank you.
Thank you.
Love you.
I love you too.
Thanks for tuning in to I'll Have What She's Having. If you love this episode, do not keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend, leave a review, or shout it from the rooftops, preferably mid-orgasm. If you want to go deeper, join me at krishall.ca for group programs, private coaching, and more pleasure-packed resources. And remember, your pleasure is your power. So go out there and flirt with life itself.